What are we expecting to happen? It's a very unusual setup, this.
Yes, it definitely is. Good morning to you, Isabel, and good morning to you, Eamon. In about 2 hours' time, the Met Police Chief is going to be questioned by members of the London Assembly. Now, they're an elected body, and their job is to scrutinise the Mayor. But, of course, under Sadiq Khan, the London Mayor, as part of his remit, he has to look after crime in the capital. And, of course, this comes down to the Met Police Chief, Mark Rowley. That's why he is going to be questioned and scrutinised today by that body. And we can expect that it's going to be a very difficult line of questioning, of course, following on from the revelations of David Carrick. He is was the serving police officer who admitted to 48 counts, 49 offences, including 20 counts of rape against 12 women. And that counted over 2 decades of service in the Metropolitan Police. Now, he, of course, was sacked from his role as a Metropolitan Police officer last week after admitting to those offences. But there will be questions for Mark Rowley today on why did this go undetected for so long? Why did fellow officers not feel as though they could report it? Why, if those officers did report it, were they not listened to? Those are just some of the questions that we can expect to hear today. Now, we know somewhat of what Mark Rowley is going to say in response to those questions. We know that he's been apologetic to the victims of David Carrick. He says that he's let them down as a force. He said he hadn't applied the sense of ruthlessness that should have been to guard the Metropolitan Police's integrity. He apologised to victims, and he said that he wants women across London to feel safe. Now, he has only been the Metropolitan Police Commissioner since September, but he did say that he is ruthless at rooting out those who corrupt our integrity. So we believe that that is going to be the focus of his answers today. But it is important that the London Assembly ask the right questions today, because those are the kind of questions that Londoners are going to want to be put to Mark Rowley. And it's also very important that he gives comprehensive answers and hopefully some idea of a solution as well.
OK, I mean, it would be ambitious, I suppose, to imagine that he'll be able to restore public faith from one event of this kind. But it does show a kind of shift, does it not, from the Metropolitan Police in trying to address what has got to be an all-time low in terms of particularly female safety in the capital.
Well, absolutely. This is an institution in crisis, many people would say. And there's also this question of the culture that has been prevalent in the Metropolitan Police. We hear about the nicknames, don't we? I won't say them on air now on Breakfast TV, but that Wayne Couzens had and David Carrick had, both nicknames that were known by their colleagues, which might have suggested that they were very bad men and not to be trusted. And we also know that both David Carrick and Wayne Couzens use their role as a police officer to gain the trust of their victims. So it is fair to say that these cases have shattered the trust of women in the police force. And we saw just last weekend, didn't we, Refuge, the largest domestic women's charity. They put 1,071 rotten apples outside New Scotland Yard, and that is to represent the 1,071 officers, current or retired officers, that are being investigated for violence against women. They did that to demonstrate quite how big of a problem this is. And of course, one of the questions for them will be, why did this go undetected for so long? So of course, So Mark Rowley today, will expect him to say that he wants to raise standards. Also at 9:30 this morning, we're going to have new figures for the recruitment of police officers in England and Wales. So perhaps he will remark on those as well and talk about the kinds of people he's going to bring into the Metropolitan Police Force and how he's going to restore integrity and trust.